is breaking news from DawgNation.
Hello, everybody. It certainly feels like a replay. We've been doing this quite a bit as of late. Another Kroger Commitment Special will be tuned in live. Moultrie, Georgia, Colquitt County High School, the home of the Packers, as we get ready to find out if four-star running back Jae Lamar will choose Georgia in just a moment, which would be Georgia's fourth straight day with earning commitment if it does go down with Lamar in just a couple of minutes' time. Hello, everybody. Glad you were with us. You see the scene there at the what I believe is the cafeteria at Colquitt County High School. A lot of the staff there from the Packers program getting all of the audio-visual stuff together. You see a very interesting collection of hats on the table. In fact, if I'm looking at this carefully, this is my first time seeing this. One of the, I think, expected finalists for Lamar was Clemson, but their hat is not on the table here at the moment. These are also three very different hats. It is a Miami flat bill with the script M, reminiscent of kind of almost like a baseball look for them. The Georgia hat in the middle does have, obviously, the sticker on the bill. That's perhaps just a fashion choice, though. The Florida State hat is a bucket hat, the likes of which you oftentimes see in the kind of the camp time of season, the bucket hat providing a little bit of shade from the sun. The laptop, in which it'll be positioned in front of Lamar, has the Packer logo, the Colquitt County logo, and the script Packers writing. Of course, you see the DawgNation microphone off to what will eventually be Lamar's right side as he sits there. So a little bit of an interesting vibe in Moultrie on the scene with three very different hats. I've got Connor Riley standing by. We'll get to him in a moment. Let me go live to Moultrie right now, though, with our Jeff Sentell on the scene. Jeff, we always appreciate your willingness to kind of give us a little bit of the lay of the land before these ceremonies take place. I think the first thing that jumps out to many of us is no Clemson hat on the table, and the three hats of Miami, Georgia, and Florida State in their styling could not be more different. What do you make of that, and also what you're seeing there from Moultrie right now as Jae Lamar gets ready to take his seat there at the podium?
Brandon, good afternoon here from Colquitt County, one of the most beautiful schools and high school landscapes you'll ever see. You're looking live right now. That's Jae Lamar. He's got a red and black shirt on, showing the world. Who knows? It's pretty funny, Brandon. We come to a lot of these things, and it's funny. If right off to the right of the main dais, we love it. We can throw those words into some reporting and make it sound official. You have the cake table, where there is secretly placed cakes in the boxes. And we're certain, Brandon, that there would be a pretty big tell in there, but you have watchful eyes looking over the cake table as of now. You see Jae Lamar. You see Colquitt County head coach Sean Calhoun flanking him over his shoulder. This is definitely one of those bigger moments here in Moultrie, Brandon. I was talking to Coach Calhoun. I was talking to the AD here earlier today, and they've had a lot of players come through, Brandon.
Yes.
Dog fans, DawgNation will remember Knight Carr, Landon Thomas, but they've never really had a ceremony like this one. They've never had this sort of pomp and circumstance. They've certainly never had Brandon Adams anchoring a commitment special like he's Walter Cronkite in his heyday. And there's a buzz here. It's really nice. They're trying to get everything connected. I'm told there won't be a lot of speech to this. And I'm told, one of the things we want to make sure people know about this young man is very rare to see this, Brandon. I don't know if I've ever been at a major commitment ceremony before where the young man has only played one season of high school football. Jae Lamar, the story's on DawgNation.com from a few months back where, he was kind of a troubled kid. He got into trouble a lot, and he was in the alternative school. That meant he couldn't play for the varsity football team, even though he was one of the most talented athletes in the school. And to see him, the change of direction in his life, Brandon, I think it's really very special how he's done a 180. Now he's one of the hardest workers on his team. He's been to Miami. He's been to Ohio State. He's visited the creme de la creme of college football, and here he is today.
So if you had to guess, you touched on this a moment ago, a few days ago when we saw Ekene Ogboko make his announcement, there was a lot of theatrics associated with that. Earlier this week, when we got a chance to see Kamari Brooks make his decision, there was really no fanfare whatsoever. He just kind of got right to it. He made the announcement, and then we were kind of off and running. In fact, almost had to be encouraged to slow it down. He seemed very, very intent to get it over. Given those two kind of extremes, if you will, which one of those do you feel like the announcement from Lamar will most closely resemble here in a moment?
Brandon, I think if I had to guess, this is going to resemble the way you love your running backs. They're going to be one cut, hit the hole, and go. I think that's about it. Now, I don't know if it means zig or zag, but I think this is going to be north-south, very much straight to the point, and to get to the conclusion and resolution of this ceremony today.
So any kind of, I guess, final thought from this, as you said, wearing, final thought, of course, before we hear the announcement, wearing red and black, that's either a huge tell or it's a major swerve. It's a little bit different than we sometimes see where the official team colors are eventually revealed after it's all said and done. I couldn't help but notice when we panned over to the cake a moment ago, that cake is closed up. We don't quite know what the decorations are on the cake. I know I wish I had some of it. I will say that. But any other kind of clues to pick up from in the room right now?
Obviously, this is a very partisan crowd. You see a lot of the Power G's represented here. I think the big picture to mention is this is a pretty big spot for Georgia and running backs coach Josh Crawford. I mean, if you had to put me on the spot and say who's the most likely running back prospect that's rated high in this cycle that Georgia stands a good shot at getting, I would say it would have to be Lamar. I think the chances here for Lamar today are better than Savion Hyder. They're better than Derek Cooper. But, Brandon, we also got to be mindful of this fact. Georgia signed one back a year ago. That was the three-star Bo Walker, who has done amazingly well since he's enrolled early in Athens, turning heads left and right. But that room right now is very light on those top 10 running backs, Brandon. The last one they signed was Nate Frazier in the 2024 cycle. So they're not loading up with the elite backs every year. That's why Lamar, rated number 8 nationally, is so important today.
You get to see a look at what the scene looks like in the room there in Colquitt County, which is actually very interesting. We don't normally get a chance to see what's on the other side, what the player in question is looking at when he makes the announcement. Let me get one more from you, Jeff, then we'll let you get in place here. Obviously, we know the Georgia running backs coach Josh Crawford knows South Georgia well, knows the Colquitt County program in particular, really on kind of an intimate basis, former staffer there. How much does that help with what Georgia wants to do with Lamar here today?
I think the biggest thing, Brandon, that's a factor, but I think the biggest thing is this is a young man from South Georgia. He's told me in the past on the record that Georgia has been his dream school. He kind of dreamed of playing for that program, going up to Sanford Stadium. They've been his leader at times, and then until he got to the point where he started backing off the leader designation. I guess he got some good advice there, but I think those are the main things, just the strong ties. And, Brendan, if this does come to the resolution, I guess most people that are watching are maybe pulling for, I think this would be a great example of a young man that becomes a national recruit, goes to the Ohio States, the Miamis, the Clemsons, the Auburns, and then maybe comes back to where maybe he would always wanted to go play college football. And, Brandon, as you know, that's no longer a given here in this modern era of revenue share, NIL, and college football recruiting.
All right, looks like they're getting about ready. So, Jeff, we'll let you get settled in on that. But, of course, we'll catch up with you one way or another once Jae Lamar makes his announcement here on this Kroger Commitment Special on the DawgNation video channels here today. And, of course, we appreciate Jeff and all of you, Kaylee Manziel, on the scene there, too, running that camera. Let me say hello to another DawgNation colleague for a moment here before this ceremony begins. Let's talk to Connor Riley. Connor, you've watched a lot of these. What's your reaction to seeing Lamar already showing off red and black? Maybe it means something, maybe it didn't. We're obviously reminded of Justice Terry committing to Texas while wearing red and black going back to December. So, not always a tell. And the fact that there's no Clemson hat on the table, Florida State, Georgia, Miami, very different stylings on these hats. Georgia does get the middle position on this. What's your read of the early clues here right now?
I think you're reading a little too into the hat science here, RBA, but who am I to get in the way of one's own research here? And this is a recruitment that I think, as Jeff outlined there, is vitally important for them to win, just given the state of this running back room. And if you're Josh Crawford, this guy who had deep ties to the state of Georgia, coached at one point in time at Colquitt County. And so this is a recruitment, especially after Usmani Kroma flips late last year. This is a recruitment that I think Georgia very much needs to win, given the investment they've made in Lamar, and specifically with Crawford, his ties and expertise in this state.
I also think it's big, just given the fact that those who kind of follow the TikTok and all of this will remember that it was a high-profile visit that Lamar takes to Miami. Obviously, we know that Miami has been a little bit of a thorn in Georgia's side in recruiting. To be able to do battle over Lamar with a program like Miami that does have prodigious NIL coffers, I think there would be some extra symbolism in that win, even considering the fact that Lamar apparently has grown up as a Georgia fan, would still be some symbolism in that win, would there not be?
Agreed. I think that, as we have seen, especially in this new NIL age, the teams that Georgia seems to battle with, they change on a year-by-year basis. But Miami with Jackson Cantwell, Derek Cooper on the horizon there as well, another highly touted running back. You see Miami and Georgia doing a good bit of battle, and I'll be interested in seeing not just how that plays out on the recruiting ranks, but ultimately on the field as well this coming season.
All right, Connor, hang tight. We're going to get back to you. Let me remind folks, this is a Kroger Commitment Special today. 4-star running back Jae Lamar getting ready to announce. We appreciate Kroger making all of this possible. In fact, if you want to get the most out of your summer experience, become a Kroger Boost member to get free grocery delivery, free pickup, the stuff you're already buying at your local Kroger. How about earning twice the fuel points on the stuff you're already buying? Every dollar you spend gets twice the fuel points when you're a Kroger Boost member. You can find out more about that today online, Kroger.com/boost. That's Kroger.com/boost. You see Lamar there at Colquitt County High School in the cafeteria. In a moment, we're going to hear from Colquitt County head coach Sean Calhoun. Obviously, the Packers, one of the storied programs in the state of Georgia in Region 1 in the 6A classification. Georgia yesterday getting a commitment from Corey Howard from Valdosta, Colquitt County Valdosta, longtime rivals. So this is clearly one of the most talent-rich regions in the entire country. The look that I'm getting here is one of IT-related issues. I wonder if they're the sense that I get is that perhaps for some of the other streams, they're trying to make sure they've got the proper stream technology. I sort of get the impression we're tap dancing a little bit right now on the basis of my IT issues. So we'll keep that in mind. I think Sean Calhoun's ready to go. Let's go hear from him here right now.
Being here on this very, very awesome day. What a great turnout. Special day today, obviously for our community, school, football program, but most importantly for Jay and his family. Very fitting that Jay wanted to call today his commitment day, or maybe better put, decision day. Jay's made a lot of decisions to get here today and to get to this point in his life. But I think it's safe to say, for me to speak with everybody, if you spent any time with Jay around athletics, around football, I'm sure you knew that a day like today was very, very in his future. And we're so very glad that everybody is a part of this day. And I think everybody knew that it was possible. So it's here, and it's really cool. So very proud of you, Jay, and I'm excited. I know I'm excited. I think a lot of people out here are excited to hear the decision that you're going to make between these fantastic universities that believe in you and are offering you a football scholarship. So actually the commitment today is going to be the first of its kind in our school's history. So Jay is actually going to go live here shortly. So there are going to be thousands of people watching his commitment. And we are super duper excited. So we're going to switch it over here to Jay, as he's going to be going live here very soon with On3 on their YouTube channel. So a lot of people can watch this commitment.
All right, Jay, are we ready to go live?
So
yes, sir.
Jay Lamar getting ready to make his college decision, flanked by family members. They're wearing T-shirts that celebrate Lamar's career. You see multiple finalists on there: Georgia, Auburn, Clemson, Miami, Florida State. However, as we've said, it's just Florida State, Miami, and Georgia who are the hats on the table for Lamar right now. According to On3, the number 122 ranked player in the entire country according to what they call their industry rankings. The 24/7 Sports Composite has him even higher than that, coming in at number 107. Obviously, this is a major get potentially for Georgia because of the high-value nature of the running back position and Lamar's particular value. It would also be quite a run for Georgia continuing the fourth straight day with a commitment if it goes down, with the chance of adding Craig Dandridge tomorrow, wide receiver, Cambridge High School in the Atlanta area, which we'll bring for you live, and then maybe at least one more commitment on Friday, if not two. A chance that Georgia could add 6 commits over a 5-day span if everything breaks Georgia's way. But some of that is obviously in the future. For what matters now in the present tense is what Jae Lamar is going to do. You heard Jeff Sentell say it, growing up a Georgia fan. He is wearing red and black. The Georgia running backs coach, still pretty new into his tenure as a replacement for the longtime Del McGee, Josh Crawford. Crawford brings a lot to the table. One of the things in particular are those deep ties to South Georgia, including this Colquitt County program in particular, a place where he was at one point in time an assistant coach. So he knows the lay of the land and has worked hard to conjure and cultivate this relationship with Jae Lamar. And we are only a matter of moments away from finding out if it's going to pay dividends and if Georgia gets its chance to celebrate another big commitment here today. Of course, running backs from Colquitt County have been good for Georgia before. We'll think back on Dejon Edwards. And this program in particular has been, or this area, part of the state, has been good for Georgia throughout the years in the past. We're about to hear from Jae Lamar right now. Let's listen in on him right now as a part of a Kroger Commitment Special. This, the 4-star running back, Jae Lamar.
So we see your final teams right there in front of you. What was it about these programs that made your final list?
The coaching staff, the players, the development standpoint. I mean, I just really love the university.
All right. Well, Jay, the moment is here. Take the floor, say your thank yous, and let us know where you will be committing to college.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to thank the man above for such an amazing opportunity. We all know this recruitment journey has been a long road, but after all those great scholarships, teams, and coaches, I've narrowed my list down to 5 schools. The University of Auburn, Clemson University, Florida State University, University of Miami, and last but not least, the University of Georgia. I would like to thank God, my family, friends, coaches, and teammates for helping me become the young man I am today. After all blood, sweat, and tears, and a long talk with my family, this is the best fit for me. For the next 3 to 4 years, I decided to take my talent and pursue my academics at the University of Georgia.
You want to talk about getting right to it. Thanking all the schools that got his finalist opportunity, but making it very clear his heart resides at the University of Georgia. How about the baseball jersey now coming on?
Why was Georgia the best?
Jae Lamar has picked Georgia. Big-time running back commit on the way.
I kind of get emotional thinking about it. Growing up, I've always been a Dawg fan. I didn't want to make this decision off being a fan. I wanted to actually go and view my opportunities, because right when I got the offer, I wanted to commit. But after talking with my family, going and weighing up my options, and figuring out what was the best fit with me, and I just thought it was the University of Georgia, the way that they develop and get people to the NFL, and I want to experience that one day, so I will take my time to the University of Georgia.
All right. So when you arrive in Athens, what can Georgia fans expect from Jae Lamar?
They better get ready to see me in that zone, baby. I'm telling you.
Congratulations on your decision. Your friends are there, your family's there. Go celebrate and go Dawgs.
Yes, sir.
Jae Lamar sending a strong message to Georgia fans saying, you better be ready to see me in that zone when I get to the University of Georgia, saying he plans on spending the next 3 to 4 years at the University of Georgia. Obviously, kind of a long-range thought process from him, and borrowing the language once made famous by LeBron James, a decision that obviously, earned some rewards for Miami. This one, though, going against that city down in South Florida, as it's Jae Lamar choosing Georgia instead of Miami, and also a host of others, Florida State, Auburn, and Clemson. Georgia gets a 4-star running back in Jae Lamar. The scene in Moultrie is beautiful as Lamar is offering hugs and handshakes. This one's certainly a big recruiting win for Georgia, and the 4th straight day for these Dogs that we've been able to say that. We're going to hear from Lamar in a moment, but Connor Riley, if you're with me while we wait to do that, let me get your thoughts on the nature of this ceremony. Lamar talked about being emotional. Now he's expressing some of that emotion, and if anyone's earned the right for that, of course he has. A really touching scene in Moultrie right now as the magnitude of this moment seemingly becomes, I think as Lamar becomes aware of exactly what this particular day means for him, really, really intimate and touching to be able to see this. Connor, what's your reaction to it all?
Sentell touched earlier on the path that the Lamar family took to get here, and how this wasn't guaranteed, and how he needed to work himself and work on himself to become a top prospect, and he's someone who's done that. At the running back position, nothing is guaranteed with the sort of the wear and tear and the injuries that you see at that position. And so for Lamar to work himself into being one of the top running back prospects in the country, where Miami, Clemson, Georgia are all going after him and making this decision incredibly difficult, I think speaks to the moment and what Lamar has worked for. And at the same point in time, a recognition of what is to come for Lamar. This is not the endpoint destination. This is only just part of the way, the journey there. And so moving forward with Lamar, I'm going to be fascinated to see what he brings to this Georgia running back room. It is a room that I think very much needs a talent like him. And if he goes out there and has a big season down there in Colquitt County, look, we saw what Dejon Edwards was able to do here at the University of Georgia. This Colquitt County program has produced a lot of players that go on to have college success at the next level. And so potentially landing Lamar and adding him to this running back room, it's a big win for Josh Crawford. It's yet another big win for Georgia on the recruiting trail. 4 straight days with a commitment now. And as Richard LeCount famously said,
let's go live. Connor, let me interrupt. Let's go live to Jeff Sentell right now.
Wearing red and black. Why that make sense for you?
I just didn't feel the need to come out here and hide my decision. I wanted it to be clear where I was going. And I just wanted to make it feel home, you know what I'm saying? I feel like an absolute priority at the University of Georgia. And when I get there, man, I just want to make it the best that I can make it. I just want to go and I want to go compete at a high level. I'm emotional saying this, but
Jay, it's amazing you're at this day. I know a lot of your story, the 2 years you didn't play high school football. What does this feel like to be here now? I see the emotions are just running through you. Like, what's going through your heart right now?
I just thank God. I just thank God for backing me away from all the situations that I was in. And man, I just thank God, man. I'm honestly speechless about this day. But man, I'm just ready. I'm ready to go and play college, man. I'm ready to go out here and play for the University of Georgia. I'm gonna stop all this crying because I'm really happy.
No, man, you're awesome. This is real. Like, I remember you told me a couple months ago, God makes no mistakes.
Yes,
he
sir.
doesn't.
You make no mistakes.
What you went through right here puts you to this point. Do you think that really sets yourself up for this success right now?
Yes, sir, it has, man. Man, if it weren't for God, I wouldn't be in the position I am in today, man. And honestly, man, I'm going to keep praying and keep thanking to God. I'm honestly speechless. Like, I really don't know what to say.
I tell you what, you're doing great, and you've already created a viral clip. I don't know if you know that. People are reacting to when they ask you, what are Georgia fans going to get? And you said, I guess that just came naturally. They're going to have to get used to seeing me in the zone. Is that the type of player you are, a big play dude?
Yes, sir. Honestly, man, you can go ask any of my coaches. Anytime I tell my coach I'm going to score that ball, I'm going to score it. And I mean it.
What kind of role did the priority that Josh Crawford put on you? Because, hey, man, it might have been a layup because you love the Dawgs. You love Georgia. We can see that. But, like, you still had to go see everybody else. You still had to recruit you hard. How did Georgia win your recruitment?
I mean, the way they make me and my mom feel, going there and seeing the joy of my mom being there, making it feel like home. I mean, I just felt like there was no other place that I would like to be but the University of Georgia.
When did you know? When did you finally know in your heart of hearts?
Sunday, coming back from my official visit.
Why? What hit you? What struck you?
Honestly, I don't know what made me say I wanted to commit. I mean, it was just like me and Coach Kirby was in a meeting. We was talking. And he said something. I just said, nah, Coach, I want to be at the University of Georgia. I want to commit.
Did you tell the coaches? Did you make a silent commitment to them that day, or are they finding out right now?
No, I made a solid commit that day.
What did it feel like?
It felt great. Getting the love from them. I actually feel like a player now, you know, because I always talk to the players. I mean, they treat me like a little brother to them, so I'm very thankful for that.
You got a message to all those young boys out there that maybe you're messing up, that are not acting right, maybe mom has to straighten them out? Like, what's your message to everybody out there, knowing what you've lived through?
I mean, man, if you got a goal, I would say, man, stay committed. I know, stay committed. Don't go out here and let people pull you away from things. I mean, I had to learn the hard way. I wouldn't want you guys to learn the hard way. I would want you guys to go, and I would want you to get better because I could be way better missing them 3 years of high school.
Are you done? Are you shut down? Where's the status of your recruitment right now?
I'm currently shut down.
Hey, just you kind of fit. It seems like your whole attitude.
Powerful words here from Jae Lamar, fresh off his commitment to the University of Georgia, continuing to meet with reporters there. And let's listen on just a little bit more from Lamar here just for a moment.
I mean, time we met, we connected really quick. I mean, honestly, Coach Curtis Smart is a great dude. Every time you see me, he remind me of, he let me know how much of a South Georgia back I am. Because, you know, coming out of South Georgia, they tough, especially, you know, playing down here in Football City, because you got nothing else to do.
Dream school, dream come true, all that. Does it feel as good as it looks like it feels right now?
Yeah, it feels very good. It feels good.
I remember when I interviewed you back in the fall, you got this offer. You mentioned Dejon Edwards.
Yes, sir.
Chasing his record here. You know, Chase's number at Georgia, too. You're going to be the next great back at Calhoun County?
Yes, sir.
Is that at UGA?
Yes, sir. I'm going to break that record this year, too. Watch me.
You got a number in mind you want to wear at Georgia?
Shoot.
Doesn't matter?
Not really, but I want number 1.
Oh, everybody does.
But, I mean, if I don't get what I get, the number don't make me, I make the number.
How close was it? How hard was this? I can tell you've made the right decision. You're very emotional. Who was the second place school that maybe Georgia had to worry about a little bit?
The University of Miami. They was pushed for me hard. Clemson University, all 3 of those schools, man, they've been pushing for me hard.
How well did the running back room make you feel? Chauncey, Nate, all those guys. You said you feel like you're already part of the team, don't you?
Them all of my dudes, man. Every single one of them. I mean, we talked, me, Nate, Chauncey, Dwight, Bo. I talked to Bo a little bit. I talked to him a little bit. But me, Chauncey, Nate, and Dwight, man, we all close. I mean, ever since I met them guys, we clicked, and I mean, we've been going on and on since.
Who else do you want to play with? You know, when somebody commits, one of the things we ask a recruit is, who are you going to go after? Who do you want to block for you? Who do you want to play with? Who's out there that you want to work on to get them to come to Georgia?
My boy Derek Cooper, the running back. Man, I want to come in. I want to have that double back special. I really want a trio back, but it's okay. We can take the double back, but I really feel like me and Derek Cooper will go in there and take over.
Man, thank you very much, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Great story.
Wonderful stuff there with Jae Lamar. Interesting at the end of that when Jeff Sentell asked him, who would you like to see join you at Georgia? Lamar speaks about another player at his position, mentioning Derek Cooper, who many of you know is set to make a commitment announcement coming up on July 12th. We'll wait a bit for that one, but it's another big-time battle where both Georgia and Miami are also involved in that. But it's Lamar calling for Cooper to join him at Georgia and create one of these running back tandems that we've gotten so used to see. I would also say that really struck by the poignance of this moment with the announcement made by Lamar, and obviously we enjoy the fun of that. We make jokes about the hats and kind of, what that's perhaps a precursor to. And so much about the original announcement from Lamar was as straightforward as a recruiting announcement can be, but whether it was the realization or just, choosing to postpone that emotion for as long as he could, when he got a chance to embrace his family, when he got a chance to be celebrated by those in Moultrie, his hometown, it was a flood of emotion at that moment for Lamar. And why wouldn't it be when it's the culmination of a lifelong dream like this? And boy, when you want to get a picture, and so often a picture tells 1,000 words, truly, as the cliche would suggest, but when you want to get a picture of what the opportunity to play college football means for the young men who are privileged enough to get that chance, the reaction to Lamar, the celebration with his family, the overwhelming sense of emotion around all of that, it truly tells that story. And I think we were all very lucky to be in the room with him today as this lifelong dream, the culmination of that, comes together here, making his pledge to the University of Georgia, wanting to make that official, wanting to make it known, and very happy about all of that. Connor, let me bring you back in on this. It's an intense level of emotion. It's a proud moment for Lamar and his family, and also pretty direct in speaking about wanting to play with Derek Cooper and wanting to get that college career started. The excitement he has about that, but also a pretty big level of ambition for his final year there with the Packers at Colquitt County. Really interesting to hear all that from Lamar just a moment ago.
Yeah, I know our Kaylee Menzel is doing a great job down there on the scenes. He's not the biggest fan of South Georgia prospects, but Jae Lamar is South Georgia through and through. And you look at the success that players, not just from that area of the state, but in particular that Colquitt County program, have had in recent years. Their mindset, I think, translates incredibly well to the University of Georgia. And in seeing Lamar, seeing how much this moment means to him, seeing how much playing for the home state and committing to the home state program means to him specifically, the emotion pouring out there, I think is significant. And we talk in this day and age where you can certainly understand from a fan perspective, go, okay, who's going to be here, 2 years, 3 years down the line? Lamar, obviously one of the top running backs in the country, a fringe top 100 prospect, someone who I think can absolutely, with the big senior year, elevate their recruiting ranking. But in seeing him and seeing this moment in particular, it's not hard to envision him being a guy that does stick around, that does want to play for this program and have an impact, not just on the Georgia football program, but the state of Georgia as well. And I think that's why winning for an in-state player like this, like Lamar, is so significant.
And of course, playing for an outstanding program in Colquitt County, terrific head coach Sean Calhoun. A lot of great success down there already. And speaking of Coach Calhoun, he's standing by with our Jeff Sentell here right now.
I need to get the exact number. But obviously, great golf.
Guys, we are here with, I think, one of the best play callers in the state of Georgia. He's going to get really a good play caller when he puts the ball in Lamar's belly this season. Coach, I want to take you to two things. First of all, Jay made no secrets about it. I don't know if you guys caught it on the broadcast, but he walks out here with his bands. Everybody's got rubber bands these days. Well, Jay had like 6 Georgia bands on. He wore the red and black. You see that thing on social media where they say it's like an X-ray and it's like of a guy's chest cavity and there's a dog in the middle of it. I kind of thought Jay was wearing something like that. What was your immediate reaction to what you saw with how he just was real front street with it?
That he's going to Athens, and but you know what? It's his day, and he didn't want to hide it. Wasn't neutral colors for everybody, and just excited for him. And you could tell that he was a little nervous, but ultra excited. Incredible turnout. Family's all here, but the red and black get up showed that he was going to be a dog.
Well, the last Colquitt County Packer that went to Athens toting the rock. He did pretty good. I think he got around 20 career touchdowns. What's different about the skill set of Jae Lamar? You and I have talked. Maybe he's a little bit more James Cook right now, but I think he's going to show people that he can be RB1 this year for Colquitt County and even hit those hard yards in between the tackles.
And that's what he's going to have to do. You know, last year he was able to – we were able to kind of bring him a little bit slowly. He had 2 senior running backs that did a fantastic job of just, you know, showing him the way and showing him how to be a running back and pass block and know the protection and know the routes to run where, you know, Jay was just kind of getting really good carries at spots. Well, now he's the guy. And so he now has to be the leader in that room, and he has fully immersed himself into that role. And we knew he would, but he's still learning because it's still amazing. He's played 1 season of high school football, 1 season, and so he's truly still learning football, but he is a bigger back than obviously Edwards was. But the toughness, they're the same because I know where they're from. And I know their physicality because of where they're from. And I know their love for football and for Georgia and their teammates, and they're going to give everything because I know where they're both from.
Coach, what did you think of the emotion he showed just a minute ago? It's one of those things, we've written the story, we've talked to you about him. Do you think that's what was coming out today, like the road he's traveled to get to be where he is today?
Pure, genuine tears. Tears of, at one point, a day like today seemed like a fairy tale. Really did. You did an amazing story on it, and it'll come out more and more. But that was just literally all the hard work, the journey, the testimony, you know, him hugging mom and his brother. I think 2 of his brothers are here, and it's just, you know, reality kind of hits you kind of what he just did. And when I see people get emotional and stuff, to me it's not weak. It's love. It's love, and it's genuine, and that made me tear up. So it was awesome. Awesome to see.
For a lot of folks that want to know the Jae Lamar scouting report, how would you break it down in just pure ball coach vernacular?
Ultra competitor. He wants the ball. He'll tell you he wants the ball. Physical, loves contact, and loves playing football. Is a really good practice player, and I'm hoping he has a big time senior year and can lead us to a lot of wins. Obviously, game 15 is the one we want to win, and hopefully he can take us there.
I thought it was funny. I'm sure that one viral clip that will come out of his podium stuff was they asked him, what can Georgia fans get used to or expect out of you? Did you hear his answer? What did you think of that answer?
I said amen, because you know what, his senior year, he better be in the end zone. So, you know, and that's just him. Like, some people can take that as cocky. He's just like, I'm a running back. I'm supposed to get in the end zone. And so that's what he meant by it. But, you know, he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and I promise you want him on your team.
You want him on your team, DawgNation. That's Sean Calhoun. We've already heard from Jae Lamar. This was a first here in Moultrie, this beautiful campus, their first recruiting ceremony, and DawgNation will be happy with the results 1 for 1. Thank you, Coach.
Absolutely. Go Dogs.
Good
and
stuff.
Go Pack.
Yeah, go Dogs, go Packers, indeed. Coming from Sean Calhoun, you love to hear that. Of course, the offensive coordinator on back-to-back state championships for Colquitt County back in 2014, 2015. Became a head coach at Carrollton, Vestavia Hills in Alabama. Actually, at one point in time, spent some time on the Valdosta State coaching staff. Not at the same time, but it's an interesting overlap because that's obviously also where Kirby Smart began his coaching career too. So Calhoun, one of the more respected coaches in the state, and doing a great job telling the stories there of what Jae Lamar brings to the table. The line that stands out to me is, I know how tough he is because I know where he's from. Great sense of pride in that part of the state down there in southwest Georgia, and no doubt looking to bring that eventually to the University of Georgia. By the way, the cakes are out now, and I got to tell you, man, I got to get out of this studio. I got to start going to some of these recruiting events because we got individual, what appears to be like, is that like a frosted brownie, and what appears to be like a cookie cake with like complete sheet of frosting over it. Connor Riley, man. Listen, I of course love the work I get to do here in our DawgNation World Headquarters studio, but there is no cake where I am today. I'd give anything to be in Moultrie right now and just sample some of those goodies.
Yeah, I think your hat science maybe leads a little work the way looking at that, but that cake science, man, it does not get better than that.
Now you're giving me a hard time with the hat science, but listen, I broke news. We were under the impression that Clemson was one of the finalists here. They didn't even get a hat on the table. That was breaking news. The newsman's just got to describe what he's seeing in front of him. You had the bucket hat, you had the flat bill with the baseball style script, the what do you call that? Old English, whatever that is. Yeah. And then the Georgia hat in the middle. There's a sticker on it, but that's also a fashion choice. That's a pretty good job of describing what can be for the audience, perhaps a little bit of a complicated situation.
Yeah, maybe it's a little tough on short notice for Lamar to get a Clemson hat down there in Moultrie, Georgia, whereas I think Miami, Florida State, maybe perhaps a little bit easier. But to your point, he busts out the Georgia baseball uniform at the bottom there, a nice little addition as we see more and more with these. It's all about creativity. The cake today, I think, sets a new bar for Jae Lamar, but Georgia is far from done on the recruiting trail. 4 straight days with a commitment now, and there's a real good chance to make it 5, possibly even 6 by the time we're doing this on Friday.
I got to give our Cody Chafin some love here because he gives a great line. When Lamar puts the baseball jersey on, he could actually play for the Georgia baseball team. It's a jersey filled with buttons, but none of those buttons being used. That'd be a pretty good job for a Lamar to be on the Georgia baseball team because they obviously have a little bit of a preference for unbuttoned baseball jerseys as well. But on a more serious note, as you point out, it has been quite a run, 4 straight days, and the possibility of like 6 commitments over a 5-day span. It's just really, I just think, incredible how accelerated this recruiting process is. Some of this is obviously Georgia doing well with the recruits it's going after, and some of this is just kind of accelerated timeline for the sport overall, right?
Yeah, it's a mixture of things. I think we saw on Monday something like 18 public commitments per Hayes Fawcett. And so this is just sort of the way the world works now, where that July 1 date, I think, being very, very important. It moves a lot of these recruitments up and the way that is going to impact recruiting moving forward. We had seen, I think, in recent years, going back 2020, 2019, a lot of these decisions get made around December. And so that has sort of now neutered the early signing period. We saw last year a lot in July, August, maybe a few leaked into the season, but now more and more of these guys are making these announcements in June, right after these official visits wrap. They are ready to be done with recruiting and all that looks like. And Georgia in a run right now, and it doesn't necessarily look like they're slowing down in that regard as they continue to put together another elite recruiting class. Now up to number 4 in the country with a lot of talented players out there still ready to join the fold.
I think we may hear from Jeff Sentell down in Moultrie before we wrap up things here. But Connor, while we wait on that to find out if that's going to take place, let's go back to, as you and I were speaking right after the announcement took place, there was really very little in the way of hint that this might happen. Lamar did mention feeling emotional about this, but there was certainly no obvious evidence that he was emotional while on the podium. And I think a lot of people have this experience where when a moment is done, when you have a chance to kind of exhale and maybe the adrenaline just sort of dials down just a little bit, all of a sudden I think the weight of the moment became very real to Jae Lamar. And this is one of those things where I'm very thankful that we're able to kind of broadcast these on our video channels, because I do think it's nice for people to be able to see more than just the recruiting ranking, how you fit onto the roster and kind of what it means to beat a rival program for this. I thought Jae Lamar and our visual of him today really kind of humanized this experience, and I was so glad we were able to do that.
There's a human component to this that I think sometimes gets overlooked, as there's a fixation on these guys who are 16, 17 years old making a life-changing decision. And you hear Sean Calhoun, you hear Jae Lamar talk about all that went in to just getting to this point. And we talk so often about, and I mentioned this earlier, this is not the end destination. This is just a step along the journey. But that doesn't make this moment any less significant for Lamar and all that he had to go through to get to this point. And you hear Sean Calhoun talk about it, his work ethic because of where he's from. It means a great deal for Jae Lamar to get to a place like Georgia that has put not just so many players in the NFL, as you hear him mention earlier, but specifically the number of running backs that are playing at the next level. And yes, sure, it's been a while since they can really claim that RBU title, but you look at the number of running backs that have come through this program and been very successful players. Obviously, Dajon Edwards being a hyper-specific example in this point. But for him to get to this point, to get to the University of Georgia, one of the best programs in all of college football, I think means a great deal for Lamar for everything that he has gone through.
Connor, I know you'll have great stuff to write about this at DawgNation.com. We'll look forward to reading that. We'll also see you tomorrow along with Kaylee Manziel as a part of DawgNation at large. Appreciate your time here today, and who knows, we may come back and do this again tomorrow for another prospect. Craig Dandridge, the wide receiver. So it's a hot time for Georgia. We're trying to ride the wave with them, and thanks for your time here today.
Yep, as always, it was a pleasure.
Good stuff there from Connor Riley. Of course, speaking of Kaylee Manziel, her partner for Before the Hedges, presented by Kroger, is also Jeff Sentell. He's standing by at Calhoun County High School right now, down in Moultrie, Georgia. Jeff, quite a moment with the Jae Lamar commitment here today. Got right to the point at the podium, then expressed a ton of emotion after the fact, something that I think he had certainly earned the right to do. This is a big pickup for Georgia and certainly a poignant moment to be able to be there with him live. What is your reaction to it all?
Brandon, I don't know, man. We've probably done, I would say, 50 of these together so far. Lucky enough in our time here at DawgNation. And I know there's the normal platitudes I could say that, hey, this is a Bulldog point of pride because this is their 4th consecutive day with a commitment. He's the first running back in the class. Certainly Josh Crawford can take a bow because this was a recruitment Georgia was poised to win, couldn't let it slip through their fingers. Those all sound good in a nuts and bolts AP-style newspaper story. I don't know, Brandon, and I'm not just trying to roll up the volume because I'm in the middle of the moment. I don't know if we've ever seen tears, emotion, a young man who was saying all the right things even though he thought he was speechless. Today, the roll call of family members, the true tears he had when he hugged his mother, he hugged his dear family members, Brandon. As we've said, this was a young man that was in a lot of trouble. He got in a lot of fights. He was kind of doing the wrong thing. He could never stay out of in-school suspension his freshman and sophomore years so he could play on Friday nights. But he does the 180 with his life, and now he's here, dream school, dream come true, and it just feels right, Brandon, for a lot of reasons. I know there are many naysayers out there now that look at recruiting and they'll say, hey, this bag drops here. What's the money man going to say? What's the revenue share number? All that is really awesome to really act like you're on the cutting edge of recruiting talk these days, Brandon. But when you see that, you see it up close. You see the tears streaming down his eyes. That's real stuff, and it's the sort of emotion that kind of takes you back 10, 15 years at least in this business.
Lamar also confirmed what I think most of us assume, which was the school that was in most close pursuit of him other than Georgia was Miami. We heard all kinds of chatter after Lamar took his Miami visit. Interesting, Jeff, to hear him essentially give voice to what everybody believed, which is that Georgia had to beat out a kind of aggressive pitch from Miami to keep this young man in the fold and have the chance to earn this commitment here today.
Yeah, let's make no bones about it, Brandon, pun not intended, but this is a school that the last 2 big-time high school prospects that came out of Colquitt County here were both committed to Georgia at one time, and one of those flipped to Miami, and the other one went to Florida State. So you see a lot of this where, yeah, is this possible? Yeah, and Brandon, it seems like Georgia and Miami are going 15 rounds right now on the recruiting trail for a lot of prospects. Derek Cooper, James Johnson, who decides this weekend, Jae Lamar, Jackson Cantwell, and so on. Like, these are becoming really true rivals on the recruiting trail. And for Georgia to, like he told me in the post-decision interview, he really knew when he was leaving Georgia after his official visit. He knew that Georgia was the place for him. And, you know, Brandon, I'm told he wanted to go see everything. Even though his heart was almost always pumping the red and black, he needed to go see Ohio State. He needed to go see Miami. He needed to go see Clemson. He needed to go see Auburn. And then when he did all that, he came back to his home team school, his dream team school, and that fit still felt as right as ever. He told the Georgia coaches he made a silent commitment. Prior to this decision, the Dawgs were very happy. I know Mike Bobo, the offensive coordinator, was very happy. you just see a really special moment here up close with all the family and all the red and black. And make no mistake about it, the entire city of Moultrie this afternoon, Brandon, is not only happy that he's a Dawg, but they're darn proud he's a Dawg as well.
We saw when Lamar made his announcement, 2 family members on the table with him, both wearing T-shirts with Lamar's face and the finalists for his services. And just a moment ago, you saw an entire collection of Lamar family and friends around, all wearing those T-shirts. That's a cool thing to see. Jeff, when you had a chance to speak to Lamar a moment ago and you asked him who he wanted to join him at Georgia, I certainly noticed the fact that he mentioned a player from his position, a name you also mentioned a moment ago. That's Derek Cooper. He'll make his decision on July the 12th. You know, both of these were very contested recruitments. What are the chances that Georgia could win them both and end up with a tandem of Lamar and Cooper in this class?
Yeah, Brandon, that's certainly going to be tough. I think most people that understand this situation, I would put myself in that mix there. It's going to be very hard. Georgia is putting up a battle. Georgia is going to make it tough, and maybe a lot of Miami folks right now feel that their grip on Derek Cooper isn't what it used to be. Reminder, Derek Cooper was committed to Georgia for about 4 hours last summer before his family heard about it and kind of invalidated and walked back that commitment because they felt it was too early. The one thing, Brandon, I hear a lot of folks that ask me this question about Jae Lamar. I want to make sure we kind of really clearly tee up this point. Last year, we've mentioned that he was his first year playing high school football, the first year he could be eligible to play for the varsity. He was behind some senior upperclassmen backs. And, Brandon, those were more of those bulldozer types that took care of those yards between the tackles. When most people watch his junior film, they love the big play. They love the explosive ability. They love how he can get to a hole, and if there's any bit of gap, he can put his foot on the ground and go, and he's gone. But I think the biggest maturation, the biggest evolution of his game, and we asked that to Coach Calhoun, is like, can he be that guy that runs between the tackles in the SEC and gets those hard yards? Those dog yards is what Georgia's Dale McGee used to call it. That's when the play is blocked up for 4 yards and only a really good college back can get 5, and then the Georgia back gets 6 or 7 out of that play. I think that's the thing that Jae Lamar is going to show this fall, that he's more than just the home run hitter. He's the guy that can bleed a defense for 7, 6, 4, 3, and then hit him for 35 and kind of be that complete back. Brandon, 5'11", 205. This is the very tasty morsel I want to share with you and everybody watching. They've got a laser system here. They run the 40 seemingly twice a week here down in Moultrie. And this is a young man that has broken 4.4, sub 4.4 speed with regularity over the last 4 or 5 months.
Last thing before we let you go, Jeff, and I know you have a special edition of Before the Hedges presented by Kroger with you and Kaylee Mansell, recorded there from Colquitt County High School, coming up later on tonight. When you had a chance to hear from Sean Calhoun, the Packers coach, obviously Jae Lamar's high school coach, and speaking about Lamar's toughness, he says, I know he's tough because I know where he's from. There is a great sense of South Georgia pride, which I love. I want the University of Georgia up here in North Georgia to have as much of that as it can possibly get. Of course, yesterday, getting Corey Howard out of Valdosta. Other corner of the south part of the state today when it comes to Jae Lamar from Moultrie. But to hear Coach Calhoun speak about that sense of South Georgia pride, something he would know very well because he's been a part of that program for a good long time. Fun to hear that, and fun, I think, for a lot of Georgia fans to know that's what Lamar is bringing with him to Georgia.
Brandon, it is out of that GA red clay, what we talk about, the DSGB. Brandon, I could give you a lot of intel and a lot of very sage scouting advice, but let me tell you, this is the real reporting you come down here to South Georgia for. I have been handed some cookie cake, and it has the Georgia logo all over it. Now, Brandon, you don't deduct them any points because it's the Nouveau logo and not the old school logo.
No problem.
I'm sure you will allow it. It's chocolate chip cookie cake. It was splattered across multiple cakes. I'm also told that the winning touch, Brandon, there were some red and black sprinkles all over that commitment cake. Tastes pretty sweet down here in Moultrie, Brandon. We love to give you all that insider information with our cookie cake reporting.
Well, let me tell you this. Only one thing's going to make that better. I know there's all kinds of dairy cows down there in that part of Georgia. Give me some fresh milk from one of those cows down there in Moultrie, Georgia, to sort of wash down that cake with. I'll be even happier, Jeff.
Man, it is a happy time. I think Jae Lamar has taken more pictures than Brandon Adams on a Royal Caribbean cruise. It is a fun time. Everybody's happy. Everybody's like, man, he really needed to make this decision here today. I do see a couple of, let me be fair and balanced, I do see a couple of Miami hats here in the crowd as well, but Jae Lamar, he's a dog. That's number 21. That's number 4 in a row. He is now the 6th highest rated commitment in the class. Should the Dogs get good news tomorrow from Craig Dandridge, that would be enough to boost Georgia past Texas A&M for the number 3 class in the country. So there you go. We had to act like a recruiting reporter after we got through with that culinary tidbit here from Colquitt County.
So obviously a lot of jockeying at the top there for the recruiting rankings. Jeff, good stuff. We'll see you tonight. Appreciate your time. Before the Hedges, presented by Kroger, Jeff and Kaylee Manziel. And Kaylee, by the way, doing such an awesome job making these broadcasts run so smoothly. Every time we're doing a camera switch, every time you're kind of seeing different parts of the room, that's Kaylee on the scene making that happen. These broadcasts would not go as smoothly as they've gone without the really hard work that Kaylee Manziel does. Obviously, you see her on camera all the time, but behind the camera doing a lot of really good stuff too. We certainly appreciate that from Kaylee Manziel. And as Jeff told you, tonight before the Hedges presented by Kroger, they're from Colquitt County. And then tomorrow back live with another commitment special as George tries to make it a clean sweep, 5 for 5, 5 days in a row, adding a commitment from suburban Atlanta tomorrow. Cambridge High School and Milton, Georgia, as Craig Dandridge, a fast-rising receiver here in the class of 2026. He'll get ready to make his announcement tomorrow around 4 p.m. We'll have that for you live as a part of a Kroger Commitment Special. And if you want the latest on Dandridge and Lamar and all of the other Georgia recruiting news, of course, the best way to make sure you get it right there on the spot is by becoming a subscriber to the DawgNation YouTube page. You want to see shows like DawgNation Daily? I hope you would. That's my show each and every morning. Or you want to see Before the Hedges presented by Kroger, or DawgNation at Large tomorrow, or the Craig Dandridge special, or who knows what coming after that as it relates to the 2026 class. You get all of that from the DawgNation YouTube page. So become a subscriber today. Give us a few likes. Help people find out that we're doing great Georgia football content, UGA recruiting content, each and every day as we head towards the 2025 season. But for now, we'll get ready to say goodbye. Thanks to Kroger for making it all possible. Thank you here in studio to Jay Black, Cody Chaffins, and Danny Fell for making this a fun one. As the 4-star running back, Jae Lamar, in a special ceremony at his school in Moultrie, Georgia, just a few moments ago, chose Georgia over Miami. The Dawgs, RBU, as it likes to think of itself, adding another running back to its list, one of the top in the state here for the class of 2026. Have a great afternoon, everybody. We'll see you back here again tomorrow.